Yeah, man. Freeman back. Want to talk about something very serious in the truth movement. If you are a truther, rebel, revolutionary, patriot, honest citizen in this country, you need to listen to this video because it is very, very, very important to your freedom, to your quality of life, to your ability to live a peaceful and satisfying life. I'm going to talk about a term called gang stalking. Gang stalking. Many of you may have heard of this, but to those who have not heard of it, let me just break it down and what it's about. Gang stalking is a systematic form of severe harassment performed by multiple people against a target. Traditionally, people think of a stalker as one perpetrator, whereas gang stalking involves multiple perpetrators using various techniques to severely bother or make a target conform to so-called rules of society. Common methods used by perpetrators include following the target on foot, by car, and public transportation, crowding the target's space in a public place, murmuring insults under the breath so only the target can hear, sitting in the car outside of the target's residence, starting fights in public with the target, doing skits on the street involving certain information only the target should know but has been found out via surveillance of the target, stealing and vandalizing the target's possessions, creating and spreading false rumors about a target, slandering the target, taking pictures or videotaping the target, harming the target's pets, bugging the target's phone, and mail tampering. The target's family may also fall victim to gang stalking. Now, let me stop for a moment. You notice that it says the word target. Well, in the truth movement, conscious movement, revolutionary movement, many of us have been targeted. Many of us are on a watch list. Many of us are on a blacklist, and we have been targeted by the opposition. Now, let me just explain a little more in depth of this gang stalking. There's another form called organized stalking, which is a form of terrorism used against an individual in a malicious attempt to reduce the quality of a person's life so they will have a nervous breakdown, become incarcerated, institutionalized, experience constant mental, emotional, or physical pain, become homeless, and or commit suicide. This is done using well-orchestrated accusations, lies, rumors, bogus investigations, setups, frame-ups, trumped-up charges, intimidation, overt or covert threats, vandalism, thefts, sabotage, torture, humiliation, emotional terror, and general harassment. It is a ganging up by members of the community who follow an organizer and participate in a systematic terrorizing of an individual. Organized stalking gang members are given targets' names or have the target identified for them. They usually don't know the target beforehand, and the gang stalkers are tightly networked with stalking groups in other communities as well. Other interchangeable terms used for gang stalking include group stalking, community stalking, in parentheses it says wide area supervised local harassment, cause stalking, stalkers use a cause for recruitment, mobbing, organized stalking in the workplace, and street theater, harassment skits done in view of the target out in the community. Some victims of organized stalking claim they are also victimized by electronic harassment, including electronic harassment, electronic assault, directed energy weapons, DEWs, non-lethal weapons, mind control, the through-wall electronics can affect the mind, and voice-to-skull technology, U.S. Army designation V2K. Not all victims not all victims will experience the same methods of harassment. Some victims are harassed more or less, and some by certain techniques and not others. Victims or targets are commonly chosen because they are 1. Government corporate whistleblowers, 2. Involved in an inheritance dispute, 3. Going through a hostile divorce, 4. Witnessed a crime, 5. Saw something they weren't supposed to, 6. Are truth-telling talk show hosts, 7. Are living an alternative lifestyle. Other victims simply don't know why they are chosen at all. Skeptics of gang stalking point their finger at the target, claiming he or she is delusional or paranoid, thus furthering the goals of the perpetrators. It is readily reported by victims of gang stalking that law enforcement will ignore their pleas for help and actually participate in the gang stalking themselves along with firefighters, various utility workers, and post office employees. Now that is the definition an explanation of what gang stalking is. Now, let me let me just point out a few things about gang stalking so you can understand what it's really about. And I'm gonna do a little video series about it. Common methods used by perpetrators include following the target on foot, by car, or public transportation. If you I'm talking to two types of people in the truth movement right now. One who is aware of gang stalking, and two, the person that is not aware of gang stalking. If you are aware of gang stalking, then you would be aware that someone is following you in your community. If you're not aware, then you need to look for signs of potential gang stalking against you. What happens is, let's say have a local, you have businesses in your neighborhood, stores, restaurants that you know, go to, and perhaps you see a car that you see once, you see twice, you see three times, and it seems like they're going in circles. Not to make you paranoid, but to give you the understanding that it's possible that that vehicle is gang stalking you and they're following you. Crowding the target space in a public place. If you ever been in a restaurant or a bar, and it just seems like people are like right up on you, they're close to you. It seems like, I mean, they could have a little space, give you a little space, right? Even in a crowded environment, that doesn't mean you have to be right up on someone. Perhaps these people are so close to you that you feel uncomfortable. Well, it could be because they are gang stalking you and they're close to you to take close up pictures of you, record your voice in a conversation that you're having with a friend, and simply just feel the need to be obsessed with you and be right up close to you. Murmuring insults under the breath so only the target can hear. Perhaps they in your community they know something about you or something that is rumored about you, and they're mentioning things in a public setting where you would only know about. Say you were going through a nasty divorce with your spouse, and you caught them cheating with the same sex. Let's say you're a woman and you caught your husband cheating with another man, but you didn't tell anyone. How did that information get out? Let's say you were in a public setting and someone was murmuring an insult under their breath saying, well, women these days, they can't keep their men because they're not satisfying them. And look what happens. The guy decides he wants to go sleep with another man because that man satisfied him more than that woman did. Something that would gain your attention because you are going through a divorce with your husband because he cheated with a man. Or some other scandal-based scenario where they would know information about you and they would use subliminal messaging in a public setting, knowing that it would get your attention because it's relative to your situation. In fact, they're saying it because it's your situation. Sitting in the car outside the target's residence. Perhaps if you've ever looked out your window and there was a car near your home or your apartment just parked there, perhaps you've never seen that car in the apartments, you've never seen that car in the neighborhood before. They are stalking you that way. Starting fights in the public with the target. Someone perhaps gets into an argument with you on purpose to provoke and escalate a fight with you due to perhaps some of the previously mentioned scandal-based scenarios where a woman starts a fight with another woman that the husband is cheating on that woman with another man, and she starts a fight. It starts subliminally. They can't just come out and say, well, your husband cheated on you and that's what you get, and now all of a sudden you're fighting. No, they ease into the fight. Doing skits on the street involving certain information only the target should know but has been found out via surveillance of the target. Let me rephrase that because I've had that happen to me. Doing skits on the street, everyone knows what a skit is, a little play, theater. Doing skits on the street involving certain information the target would find important to discuss or to debate. In my life, I went to a convenience store near my house. I go to that convenience store a lot. There have been several individuals out in the street near the convenience store on a megaphone preaching about Jesus Christ. I don't believe in Jesus Christ. They know I don't believe in Jesus Christ. So they are there to provoke a argument, provoke a debate, just provoke me into a argument with them about that very said topic. That is a form of doing a skit on the street involving certain information the target would adhere to. Stealing and vandalizing the target's possessions. I've had my identification stolen from me by the CIA, or perhaps in my apartments by the apartment managers, the maintenance men. They came into my apartment and stole my ID. One of the reasons why they steal your ID is because your identification links you to pretty much everything important as far as your business. All the business that you have to take care of in your life, you have to have an identification for. Also, the reason they take your identification is to use the identification, the photo, against you, to slander the target's image, to say that here's a photo. They can crop that photo out and make that a mugshot and falsely charge that person with terrorism, sexual assault, sexual predator, you name it. They take your ID, take the photo of that identification, and crop it and make it look like a mugshot. And this goes into the next uh, elements they use: creating and spreading false rumors about a target. If you're a targeted individual, they will spread rumors about you, slander the target, slander the image, taking pictures or videotaping the target. I've had people, you have to be careful with people with cell phones. If you've ever been around someone in a public setting and it seems like they're really on their cell phone a little too much, maybe they are secretly taking pictures of you or recording you for evidence in their gang stalking group. Harming the target's pets. Now, this is something in a household of mine. Well, I have a cat, and one of my relatives feels the need to kind of kick the cat. There's nothing wrong with playing with the cat, but she's kicking the cat, which is making the cat, cry out. And she's assuming that I would say something about it, but I have a knowledge of gang stalking. So I'll let the cat go outside. Bugging the target's phone. They bug the phone of the target. If you get a lot of calls out of state, you get these calls either on your home phone or your cell phone, and you wonder, what are these people? You try to call the number back, and it says the number is no longer in service. Or you look up the area code, and you say, why is this person calling me from this city or this state? I don't know anyone in that state. And mail tampering. They tamper with your mail. Be careful when you use mail, because they can steal your mail, look in it, get all of your information, and pretend, because the post office can also be in cahoots with gang stalking, just like the police department. I will be back with a part 2 of this important information for all the truthers out there, all the patriots.